Welcome to episode 46 of the official podcast for Guardian 1, a Destiny group dedicated to the prosperity of Guardians everywhere. We broadcast live Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Guardian 1 Network. My name is Remy, and tonight I am joined by River.
What's up, everybody?
Crimson Warlock.
Howdy, howdy.
Jez.
Good morning.
Agrios.
Greetings, Guardians.
And BelleBunny.
Hi.
We are going to be talking about all things Destiny, but first, housekeeping.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening in on the podcast, however it is that you choose to listen. Be sure to follow Guardian 1 on Twitter at G1Net. That's G, the number 1, N-E-T. In addition, be sure to check out the Guardian 1 website at guardian1.net. You can also send us feedback to our email, feedback@guardian1.net. We also have a Bungie.net forums group that's currently at 165 members. So if you want to join, just search for the group name Guardian 1. Guardian 1 has its own clan, so if you want to join the Guardian 1 clan, just select the buttons that say set as PlayStation clan or set as Xbox clan after you join the group. We utilize the forums for comments and feedback, so be sure to join the conversations going on there. And thank you to all of you guys who are currently in the Twitch chat. As Remy said at the top of the podcast, you can watch the show live at twitch.tv/Guardian 1 Network. Broadcast every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. And if you can't catch the show live, you can always go to the Guardian 1 YouTube channel at youtube.com/Guardian 1 Network. Guardian 1 is a proud member of the Guardian Radio Network, so be sure to check out the Guardian Radio Network website at theguardiansofdestiny.com. There you'll find all the different podcasts as part of the network, including the flagship podcast Guardian Radio. They broadcast every Monday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/Guardian Radio, and you can also follow their Twitter account at GuardiansOfD and check out the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Guardian Radio. Other podcasts include the TTL Party Chat, Aim Assist Gaming, Robust Radio, and if you're into the audio version of Grimoire cards, because I know all of us are, be sure to check out Ghosts and Echoes. Highly recommended. And that's it.
Excellent. Thank you very much, River.
Bring the rage, man.
Tons of stuff to talk about, and just listening to your housekeeping made me think of two other things that I wanted to bring up. But we will talk about that later because, right now there's still this river of rage from Guardians regarding the steps you need to take in order to move into this next version of Destiny in September. And I'm excited to get everybody's opinion on this because it seems to me that it's possible that you guys might not agree with what I have to say. It's possible that you all will agree with what I have to say, but I will never ask any of you to represent yourself as anything other than what it is that you want to say. Like I think that this podcast is very open. I want to hear it. That's why I said, River, it's I don't want to do the show without you because you are constantly telling me no. And that's important.
And that's why he brought me on, too, as backup to say no on top of what you say.
Right?
Double no.
Additionally, we only had you on for a couple of moments last time, Belle, and I don't know. Some new information has been given to us this week. So why don't you take it away, Agrios?
All right, yeah, lots to talk about this week. Some good, some bad, all interesting. Let's start with what kind of sparked the whole thing. There is a Eurogamer article earlier this week featuring an interview with the creative lead, Luke Smith. He's the creative director, correct?
That sounds good.
Yeah. And it definitely sparked a little bit of controversy in the community. It was mainly an interview pressing about the pricing and contents of the collector's editions. Part of the controversy stems from that his article and his particular way of conveying himself may not translate right to text, but we'll leave the judgment up to our viewers there on that one. Even the author has come forward on Twitter to say that the interview is very good-natured and perhaps didn't quite come off right in that regard. When asked about the collector's edition special comment, he says that we've set some stuff aside for that edition specifically to really make it appeal to fans who have engaged with the game already and also to people that will enter the game this autumn. when asked about other, options as far as obtaining this, he simply said that we have nothing more to talk about regarding your opportunity to spend extra money in Destiny other than the Taken King and the 3 versions that we've announced. He goes on to say that we will continue to discuss player feedback with respect to the game and the collector's edition content. He was then asked, the Taken King costs £39.99, which is almost the same as the base game. Does its content justify that? Luke responded to that by saying, I'm going to use American dollars because British pounds are just foreign to me, effectively dodging one of the aspects of the issue, which is the international pricing discrepancies. Do you guys want to step aside and chat about that real quick right now?
The discrepancy in the pricing?
Internationally.
I've heard people talk about it, and Hegemony is very vocal about it. But I really don't know what goes into that. Everything has always been more expensive over there. I don't know why it's double what it is over here. But I've just noticed throughout all of time, when something is a certain amount here, it's more over there. So I don't know what that's all about.
It seems that this is a higher percentage than normal. Is the problem. Substantially higher percentage than normal. And it varies from country to country. It doesn't seem that there is a standardized way of they figuring out the price. They literally just, interchange the dollar sign for the other currency in some occasions, and that doesn't really work out. And in fact, it ends up, I believe, if I understand it correctly, the UK is paying more for this than anyone else in the world.
Yeah, it's a good question, and I wish I knew more about international relations as far as that's concerned, but I have
really a lot of things going into that equation, like that a lot of people, when they're just looking at the price and seeing, oh, well, it's almost twice as much here as elsewhere, but you also might be living in a country that your minimum wage might be higher, so the standard of living is higher in general.
Right, but UK, as far as I understand, actually, the standard of living is lower. So why would they be paying twice as much?
Whoa.
Well, okay, so right now the U.S. dollar it's 1 pound is 1.57 U.S. dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So they're already like the if you were to translate 40 pounds into U.S. dollars, that's almost 60 or like $80 would be almost 120 already. Just but that, and then you have taxes and tariffs on imported goods and other things like that as well. So all of that increases the price.
My question is then, how does that work if you say you have a video game company that's in the UK or the Netherlands or whatever, because they're out there. We play games from many of them. How come it still seems to be the same pricing then? We still pay the normal $60 here, but other places it still seems inflated, even if
we wouldn't buy it otherwise. Because they want to make those sales to those millions of U.S. customers, and if we look at other games on our rack that are $60, and this game from this part of the world decides to charge us $80, they're just not going to sell their game compared to the other game.
So Americans are just more vocally pissed off if that happens, and other countries just screw you. Like, that's kind of how that reads,
we have a lot of buying power,
like...
I think, is part of it. We're huge. Like, we're gigantic compared to a lot of other countries.
Well,
I'm just looking
and also, publishing companies. So if a game's made outside of the U.S., but the publishing companies in the U.S., they can circumvent a lot of that and set the price for the U.S. market, because the publishing companies in the U.S.
Activision has branches in the U.K. that, more than Activision here, sends people they like from YouTube to events and pays for all of it. So that's what throws me off. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like they support gamers, but then...
Here's my theory. Here's my theory on it. If your currency, from another country, if your currency is a really currency, they're going to charge you more.
Okay, so this is something that I wanted to bring up, and Mystic Rose 276 has put it in the chat, talking about taxes and tariffs on downloads. And so I can understand in the sense of we want to squeeze these people out of more dollars. Like, I can understand that from a rude businessman's point of view. But with downloads, it's going to be just a simple download. Like, this doesn't make sense to me why you would end up having to pay so much more.
It
Well,
doesn't.
it's the same for
Because
anything
part
like
of
that,
the problem is when you consider it relative to the other games. Like, this is a substantially higher percentage increase in the price for what it is compared to the U.S. than when you look at other games, relatively speaking. Like, another game that's come out for $39.99 in America wouldn't typically still be $39.99. It would be still end up being more U.S. dollars typically in these other places, but it wouldn't be a direct conversion just changing the signs like that. That's like a 60% increase in price, and that's a lot higher percent than they see on other like merchandise. So that's part of the problem, is holding it to its standard, holding it to the same convention as other video games. They're charging a higher percentage here over the American price.
And I totally understand people that don't live here being pissed off about that aspect of it completely. Like,
Yeah, I'm with them too.
Yeah, I find it quite odd. It's a weird way of doing things, and the way it doesn't even hold true to all foreign nationalities. Like, from Australia to Germany to England, the percentages just fluctuate all over the place.
It's funny that they're very quick to raise prices of things if your transition is makes it cheaper for you, but they're less likely to even look at it if it's higher. Like, the Canadian video games, they're all $70 now, compared to like 60 where you are at in the US.
That's what I was just going to say. I'm wondering if that's because of the proximity.
Well, that's mostly due to our dollar, but not so
money's
much.
stupid. That's the final point of all of it.
I think the point is we need a global currency.
Yep.
And
I don't think Bungie's going to be able to fix that one. I mean, they won't
what do you mean? That's not one of Deej's jobs.
Right? This podcast is about destiny and economics. Let's get to the bottom of this.
Nobody knows who's in charge of world currencies. Damn it.
Bungie has standardized the world currency. It's called Glimmer.
Glimmer, yeah.
There we go. How much Glimmer would you pay for the collector's edition?
You can only have 25,000.
Right, you can only have 25,000, so...
That's how much it costs.
After that, you've got to spend it somehow.
I think it's also important to take a look at the different setups. So what were originally the 3 packs? There was the collector's edition that was the physical one, right? And it came with that strange coin, and it came with all of the previous Destiny installments, plus the Taken King, this really sweet schematic. How much was that in American dollars?
$80.
That one was $80?
$89.99.
$89.99?
$79.99.
$79.99. Okay, and then the next step down was what? The Legendary Edition?
Correct.
And do both of those come with the shader and the ship and the emblems? No?
Well, wait. The Sparrow and the emblem and the shader are that's separate from all the packages. You don't need to pay any money to get that, technically speaking. You need to have a level 30 character.
You have to buy Taken King.
No, you have to play Taken King.
No, you're talking about the VIP stuff.
I'm talking about the VIP. No, I was talking about the stuff that was only in the collector's edition.
Right.
The stuff that we now have to pay $20 for.
You're talking about the Founders Pack.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the
stuff you listed was the Founders Pack, but you're trying to talk about the Collector's Edition emotes, and there is an extra shader, and then the
3 shaders.
The class items. Right?
Okay, yes, class item. That's what I meant to say. Not speeder. So and then there was just the upgrade of the Taken King, correct? And that's $40.
Correct.
Okay, and now what they've done to fix this is to offer those additional emotes and things like this for $20. I want to talk about that for a minute, because in my mind, that was what had my hackles up, was the fact that as a before day one Guardian, I'm way sick of the dances and the waves. Like I want something new, and for them to put that, for them to make me pay for the collector's edition and get all of that stuff again. This is, I don't want to deal with that. Like I want to be able to. I mean, I would love to have bought the collector's edition. I want a strange coin. I want all that other stuff that came with it. But as far as I just need to move forward with my gaming in Destiny, I wasn't interested in rebuying all of that stuff. So was anybody here upset that they were putting those emotes, something that brand new Guardians don't need that stuff. They're not yet done with the emotes that they haven't yet played with. Like new people coming in don't need new emotes. Anyone here upset that was part of their deal prior to being able to purchase $20 or purchase it for $20? And what is your take now that you can pick this up separately? Will any of you be doing this? Let's start with you, Belle.
I don't know if I was necessarily upset about it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was kind of like, okay, that'd be really cool to have. And I guess part of me was like, makes more sense for those of us that have been around to have it. But as you're sitting there saying that, I'm kind of thinking, in a sense, that's like saying the people who first purchased the game when it first came out didn't need emotes, period. Like, that was something that sold us. Or being able to have the Ghost Edition is something that sold us on it. There's a reason that they do these special editions for everything. And for me, like, I got to a point where I had to look at it as the collector's edition and what was included in it was supposed to be a way to really draw in new players. Because if you haven't picked up the game by now, other than if you happen to be super wowed by E3, which, let's be honest, it looked super cool, but if you're not a person who's really following this game right now, at least for me, it was the additional videos after E3 that really got my hype level up. And so if you're not somebody really following those because you don't already play Destiny, you might not still be that interested in the game or still questioning it. You've heard these 6 out of 10 reviews and whatnot. What's going to turn that around? Well, one marketing technique is to say, hey, have some cool stuff that nobody else has. The same as when you first purchase the game. You get something cool that nobody else will ever have again. So that
how do you do that without pissing off the people who've been there since day one? Like I understand exactly what you're saying, and it makes sense from a let's pull in new people, but how do you do that without pissing off every single person?
Because they gave us a VIP thing that originally from the beginning they said it wasn't just those 3 items, it was something more. Well, they've said from the beginning there was more. At least for me, I just trust the company that they care about us. Plus, for me personally, I've had an entire year of play that all these other people haven't had. I also got to have all these experiences that nobody else will ever get to have, no matter when they pick up the game now. And I have weapons that nobody else will ever get to have again. And I can sit there and say, hey, I helped build this game to the point that it's at right now. And all along, Bungie has listened to me every step of the way. That's more than other people can necessarily say. For me, that's more than enough. But for other people, I get, you want that collector's stuff. And that's why, like, I'd ask people, would you pay $80 to have all of that without having to paying $80 for the Taken King digital and the physical stuff plus the emotes or whatever, but not the vanilla game and the 2 DLCs? And people said yes. And that's when I got confused. Because I was like, in my opinion, I was like, why not just pay the $80 and ignore the extra game you already have then? And just enjoy the stuff you wanted if you're willing to pay the same price. Like,
right, it sounds like you weren't the only one confused there.
Yeah, I just feel like it almost came down to this, like, we don't want other people to have what we have, or I don't know what it was. It throws me off. But I get the other aspects of it. But that's just kind of, I'm going to shut up for a little bit.
I feel like as someone who's put in a ton of time into this, that I want very badly more emotes. And so I think I just felt shafted by the fact that the only way I was going to get those was by buying this collector's edition. I don't want to buy that collector's edition, but I absolutely, positively want new emotes. Agrios.
Do you not care about the physical stuff?
I do, but because I just, money is tight.
Right.
I'm not so hot on it that I
But
have.
it is more the in-game stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean,
that's
new
what I've been trying to
emotes-
ask people, because I'm trying to understand, is it the fact that there's stuff in the game that you don't get to touch that other people do, or is it you want the physical things that will sit on your shelf? And like, so I'm just kind of trying to pull people to understand where everybody's at, and it seems to be the bigger issue is the in-game content bugs people more, that they didn't have access to that.
Absolutely. I
Okay.
mean, I would not have had a problem paying $80 for the whole shebang if I had $80
Right.
to just pay for the whole shebang.
I think everybody would say that.
But just to think about being in the tower and seeing people do new moves and then not be able to do that because I only bought the core expansion, it just rubbed me the wrong way. Like I've been here forever and look at this dance that absolutely everybody has access to.
Right,
You
but
know,
then you
it's-
pull out a weapon that they can never have. Like, is how, you know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of have to, I guess, weigh the two. Would you prefer an emote or a weapon that nobody else will ever have again, or an armor?
And
You know what
they
I'm
can't-
saying?
They can't easily do it, but you can still get all the weapons that were ever in the game.
What?
If you go back and play Tagger Strike playlist strikes, the legendary engrams you get from doing those missions will be Vanilla Destiny legendaries. If you go back and do Rock Strikes, the legendaries you get during the Rock Strike will be the Dark Below legendaries.
What? I have never
Yes.
heard that. I'm not doubting you, but I have never heard that.
And for instance, if you have a new character who hasn't done the Dark Below exclusive like questline missions yet, the legendaries that are rewarded from doing those missions will also provide you with Dark Below items.
And like any though, like so then my question is, if can you still get, say, a sniper rifle that drops with final round? Because that
Yes,
used
just
to
like if
exist.
you have the old Iron Banner Ephrodite Spear, you can still roll the old Ephrodite Iron Banner Spears. You can still re-roll them to have final round, even though
right,
you can't
if you already
re-roll it on a
have
new one.
it.
Exactly. Well, it's the same
I'm
way.
saying, can you get-
The old weapons that you get from Vanilla Destiny have the old Vanilla Destiny rolls. The
What
weapons you
the
get from Dark
poop?
Below
How
have
have I
the
not
Dark
heard
Below
this
rolls.
before?
because you don't
Okay.
listen to the show, apparently.
Hey now, you guys are on
Ooh.
late at night, and yeah.
Oh!
I think there's this thing called YouTube that can be
Hey.
played
Thrown
whenever
on
you
a
want.
few hours, though. It's
Hey
hard to
now,
stay
when
focused.
you get on iTunes, then I'll go back and listen.
Bam! Yes.
So what do you think, Agrios? Like when you look at this, Hegemony says that he won't cry over people using emotes he doesn't have, but that's because you're awesome. Okay, I never claimed to be awesome. So what do you think, Agrios? So the before the changes, after the changes, does it matter to you? Or were you just going to buy, or are you just going to buy the collector's edition anyways and screw it?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
I didn't like the way it was presented initially for multiple reasons, not just for personal reasons, but for the way it comes off to the community and for, I don't know, you can't tell me that whoever's in charge of putting this stuff out, everybody sat in a room and stared at a board with these options on it and said, yeah, these make me feel good as a gamer. These are what everyone's going to be happy about. Like, who seriously stared at the wall of these and said, this is good, let's go with it? Like, that's not cool. But I was likely, mainly because of my involvement in the community and my interest in how much I actually play Destiny and how much use I'll get out of the in-game niftiness, was, I went ahead and reserved the collector's edition, understanding that, I could always change my mind later and cancel that and go a different route. So as of now, I have myself a collector's edition reserved.
What's that?
No, go ahead. What were you going to ask? I can...
No, I was going to say, Belle, I already actually have to deal with other people having weapons that I don't. And so I think that that's where the line is for me. I don't have Mythoclast. I don't have Thorn. I don't have Fellwinter's Lie. There's already a ton of
But you can
stuff.
get them.
Well,
still.
yeah, totally. But so can the people who buy this collector's edition. These are all still available in the game.
The old Fellwinter's Lie is no longer available. You can no longer get an old Hammerforged Fellwinter's Lie because that wasn't from an edition that drops in a normal legendary engram. So certain guns like that are permanently gone.
Totally.
And I guess that's my point.
Yes, exactly. That was Belle's point.
Thank you, River.
Mhm.
I think this goes into what my next point kind of was, is the fact that in the game, like, we only have the ghost shell that came with the original edition, no other ghost shells. Okay, we only have the 4 emotes that are mapped to where they're mapped. We can't change any of that. That's what we've had since day one. There's only a tiny, tiny percentage of this in the game. Like, for instance, we're getting 3 new class-specific emotes. Okay, well, that's 25% more emotes than we've ever had in the game entirely, ever. So, like, when you compare it to other games, like, I've seen some other, and it's a valid point when they were comparing it like this, but they're saying you can go buy, like, special characters or special mounts that don't affect the game in other games for a premium price. But those games also have thousands and thousands of these, like, different choices for a lot of times for cosmetics and different gun skins and, 40 or 50. But this is, no one has any different than the 4. There's just these one new ones.
You know what?
So
I think maybe that's what it is. There is nothing more exotic than a second dance. Like I've never seen another dance. There we have one dance per race, and then that's it. It's not like I could just go buy a separate one, and then these are ones that are specific to to this collector's edition. I might not care as much if that were the case. Like the guns that come with that collector's edition, I don't really care about those guns. I feel like I have my own sweet guns, but as I understand that these are just emotes, but they are really important. I've played a couple first-person shooters in the last couple of days, and they don't have a way of saying hello, and it just breaks the continuity so much. Like Agrios and I are playing some PlanetSide 2, and we spent an hour trying to get into the same area. Because it's just a pain in the butt to do it. And when we finally saw each other, it was like, all right, I guess I have to shoot you in order to say hi. It's like
friendly fire, so that doesn't work out well.
Right? They warn you about that. What do you think about this, Jez? Do you even give a crap?
Well, the first thing I want to mention is I think the reason why people are mad, my reasoning is that they're looking at the collector's edition and thinking, well, if it's got the Destiny game and it's got the 2 expansions, how come there's not a version that doesn't have it so I could buy it cheap?
Yeah, I could see that.
So I think that's the only reason that I would see people looking at it as mad, just because it's kind of like not a SKU option for the people that's already been playing it, which are more likely to get the collector's edition anyways.
Hegemony says that he feels that there's going to be new emotes in TTK without owning the CE. And I would say, yeah, certainly, why not? Except for the fact that there wasn't any other ghost skins in Destiny up until this point. I thought for certain that there was going to be other ghost skins. Same thing with why I never got that Call of Duty. Why I never got Blacksmith. I was like, you know what? There's just going to be other cool skins. I don't need to even look at Call of Duty. And luckily there was a guardian angel out there who helped me get my metalsmith or whatever it's called.
Blacksmith.
But it's
metalsmith. He wanted it so bad, but he has no idea what it's called.
Right. Right. And now that I have it, it's like back to standard. I just needed the option. But yeah, I feel like there's definitely going to be other emotes as well. Like they've opened Pandora's box. But again, there wasn't any other ghost skins that we could use. So if they had said that out front, new emotes are coming to Destiny, and then here's some specific ones for the collector's edition, I could have just turned a blind eye. And again, this is not making me hate Destiny. I'm not going to Reddit and being like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm doing this. I don't know why I'm doing Squidward's voice. That's funny. Apparently the people on Reddit in my brain are Squidward.
Well, aside from the emotes, the other thing that people look at this collector's edition and thinking, oh, this is the only way I'm going to get it, is the exotic class item.
But it's not.
Yeah, like it's totally
so not.
It's totally a new way that they're allowing you to customize how you play the game.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that I agree with that. I don't know that we're going to be able to get class items that look exactly like these in the game.
Look.
No,
Function.
looks, no.
Right, just the function. Right. Okay, just want to be clear on that point.
Right.
Yeah,
No, you
no,
can't. Yeah,
they'll-
they're going to look unique. But I think for me, at least, the bigger thing would be the fact that I was like, hey, now you get bonus XP stuff and I don't? Heck
See,
no.
I don't care about the bonus XP. Like, I don't see what the big deal is about the
I mean,
bonus
for
XP.
that's more because they're ideally a new player, so they want to boost them up to max
Right.
level as quick as possible. So they're going to give them the XP boost, and that's the main reason why they're getting those.
Just imagine if it's the like coolest looking hunter cloak that you've ever seen in your entire life when you see it in game.
I don't know. It's purple.
Then you go
I
on
don't know.
eBay and you beg somebody for the code for it. And by beg,
Well-
I mean pay them $500 and something.
The one other thing I had to say about the whole thing, like, I really think that they could have probably accomplished nearly exactly the same plan they wanted to accomplish if they just would have spun everything differently, the way they just unveiled it and told the public. Like, I think if instead of just mentioning the Founders Pack and that they're going to be giving that away, they could have incorporated that into bundles without, like, charging more for it. Like, I think what I would have liked to have seen originally would have been the Taken King DLC for $40. Okay, that's the bottom. Then we'll go all the way to the top. We have the $80 collector's edition that comes just the way you see it now. Only I would also throw in a bunch of consumables for new players. Like a bunch of telemetries and like 25 of each of the planetary materials or something like that, like a starter's consumable pack. The veterans wouldn't care about because they're just all things they can get in the game anyway that are only beneficial to starters. Like give them 25 of every material in the game, or whatever. 5 exotic shells.
I would intentionally not throw $80 at it if it meant I had to hold on to more consumables.
Well, there you go. That's been a bonus deterrent. And then I would have had a veterans pack, a veterans collector's edition for $70. And I'd throw out the Destiny base game. I'd throw out the 2 expansions that are in there, make it a Taken King DLC code, and there's where you would get your Founders Pack. And then you go down and you'd have digital versions too. You'd have the $50, you'd have the $60 Legendary Edition like it is now, and then you'd have the $50 digital Veterans Edition, and that would just come with the the Founders Pack as well.
I'm
Then
going
you'd
to
have one
propose.
50, 70, and 80, and it would be what anybody could possibly want out of that.
I'm going to propose a new SKU in this new world of Destiny. Is you had the Returning Guardian pack. There should be something like name it whatever, like True Guardian, Returning Guardian, something like that. And it should be $90. It should be the collector's edition stuff without Destiny and the 2 expansions, but include the next 2 expansions.
Oh, I like that a lot.
Like just like how the collector's edition of the Destiny original game had the expansions to start with. This will get you
It might
started.
need to be more than 90 though. If you
Well,
look
that's
at the value, because the other DLCs were 35 together, right?
Yeah, maybe closer to 100.
Because you're already
because it
at
would be-
85 if you add that to your. No,
Yeah, I was
75
gonna
if you
say, I
add
think
that.
they'd be hoping for like $120 for something like that, because I think they're hoping for another $35 at least price point with that
Right.
season pass too, on top of the 80 they're making from all the collector's editions now. So I mean that'd be great for a consumer. I'm all about your idea as a consumer, but I can totally see why Activision would just shoot that right out of the sky.
Well,
And that's
maybe not a collector's edition, but maybe a digital edition, like just the
Right.
digital stuff.
So what do you think about all this, Crimson Warlock?
I don't even know where to begin. Like, I'm a very large torrent of emotions, and a lot of it's due to not just this, but other things that have happened. But in regards to this, like when it was first revealed, I was just like, but where's the love for Day One guys? Because like to me, just everything pointed to increasing the bottom line of players. Like that, all of these additions to me just screamed, we need a larger base of players. And while I can agree that that's always what you always want to increase your your player base. There wasn't any love for all of us that have stuck through the thick and thin of it. Really,
Okay.
I mean, what?
So that
Why
confuses
would I
me.
want to buy a brand new car and get a copy of my used car when I did that? You know,
Oh, you also
that.
get this POS over here. Take it
Like,
with
yeah,
you.
it's like why would you want that? Because if I have ordered a collector's edition, kind of hoping that if there's a better um kind of better deal for us day one people,
So
then
okay,
that's what I'll take.
I want to throw something out here because this is a Bungie trait that they have done throughout the years, which is basically not said anything about what we're doing for the people who are doing something right now. And by this I mean like like they said that they still have more to announce about what they're doing for Day One Guardians, and Day One Guardian, it could mean anything from people who have already done it to people who have just raised one Guardian to level 30 to people who have purchased everything up to the House of Wolves and played that by the time the next expansion comes out, right? So I think that the reason they're not spelling out everything they're giving people is to make it actually exclusive. Like, some people are sitting there thinking, oh, well, it's a much better deal to go with, to wait and to buy the collector's edition and then play it then. And I think that they haven't outlined it is because they want to make it really special. I mean, this is just me pulling it right out of my ass. But I've seen this before, and one of the things we also have to remember is Recon. If you were around Bungie in the days of Recon, they don't want to put something out there in front of you that you could never get because it lights people on fire. It pisses them off so bad. Like I remember the days when that's all you could see in the Bungie forums was people begging for Recon, and then finally they relented and they gave you a set of steps, a set of impossible steps that you could do to get this Recon, but it still was insane. So I really think that they're not talking about what they're doing to really, they will announce it at some point. And then we will all be really thankful that it was awesome. River, you've been amazingly quiet. I would like to give you the floor now and see what your take is on all this.
All right. So check this out. Whenever it was first announced that the collector's edition was going to get that exclusive stuff, right? Of course, I felt like I was getting a little bit shafted. This is the initial reaction. This was right after reading about it. I was like, oh man, I'm going to have to buy all this stuff again in order to get that stuff. But, and this is for me personally, I also found it as a great opportunity for me to buy, or perhaps to buy the collector's edition for PlayStation 4.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth right now, River. Don't you even dare tease me like that. Do you realize everybody else on this panel has a PlayStation 4 and we're dying to play with you on PlayStation?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, see, it's a really great opportunity for me to buy that for the PlayStation 4. That way, whenever I may get one in the future, I would already have all this stuff ready and set to go for the cheapest price possible.
Totally.
That's smart.
And you know what? And they were thinking about those people. They're also thinking about the people who want to maybe purchase a second PlayStation 4 for their girlfriend or their brother or their cousin. I think that there was no fault in the collector's edition. I really think each of these steps made a lot of sense. But I just like you were saying, there was just that tinge of disappointment. Like, man, I don't want to buy all this stuff again just to get that emote. I feel
my one problem with having to buy everything again and only having one system and stuff is, if I did find another friend to gift everything to, I would feel like a complete douche because I'd be like, hey, play this cool game that I like, but I'm only giving you 75 of the content.
But see,
you're gonna have to buy the rest, but I can gift you this much, and it's kind of like, well, I want you to play with me, but only halfway.
So you're thinking of like a friend, though. What it could be, say, like a nephew or a niece that you might have that's, you know, a little bit younger, probably like in their teens or something, be like, hey, I'm really into this game. Maybe me and you should play sometime. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
That's really sweet.
See, that's just one of those. I might do that for somebody. But anyway, so that was like the initial thing, and you know, I kind of made it into a positive thing, and that's why Luke Smith was talking about and was trying to emphasize in that Eurogamer article that it's really dependent on how much value you yourself would
Yes.
put on the content at hand. So I changed it to where, man, I can get a really good value with this, and then I can still buy the $40 edition for the Xbox One and still have the Taken King for to have to play with all my Xbox buddies on there, you know, like Bell. And it's a slippery slope. Once I read the Eurogamer article, here's the other thing I wanted to emphasize real quick here. Whenever I was reading that and this is strictly reading, I didn't see the video. Luke Smith was talking about how, I mean, he was posed the question about why the collector's edition was getting that extra stuff, and you know, we're not getting that stuff. And the first thing he says is, there is no way right now for you to get the new dance emotes without doing that. He could have said, there is no way for you to get the new dance emotes without doing that. So I felt like, you know, there might be a little hope that maybe we're going to get something later on too. Not that we deserve anything, but it's like Bungie knows that we back them up. We've been backing them up for a whole year. I felt like they weren't going to shaft us so hard. It's like, it's blatant, right? Everybody knows it. Everybody looks at it and says, wow, this is really crappy. Why in the world are they doing this? It's almost stupid, right? It's almost stupid for something like that to go on and Bungie just be like oblivious to it. Yeah. There was something else in here. Collector's pretty cool pack. Oh, here we go. Whenever Eurogame was asking about the fans, you know, why we would want to buy the stuff that we already own, Luke Smith is talking about how, you know, the collector's edition, this is a quote, collector's edition is a pretty cool package for people who want to pursue that stuff. Otherwise, surely what you're saying is that you would want to buy them separately, right? And that was a huge clue to me. That was a huge clue to me that, man, this is going to, later on, it's going to be, they're going to announce that we're going to be able to get this separately.
Well,
it's going to be a
either
great
later
deal.
on, or I don't know why everybody is necessarily assuming that Bungie / Activision / their marketing department released all of these editions and then sat back and didn't ever think anywhere in there, hey, people might want a different option. I don't know why everybody's thinking that they somehow only came up with the idea of adding this $20 add-on yesterday. I highly doubt they just sat down yesterday and came up with it. So why couldn't it possibly be also that he was referring to saying, maybe we're going to give you another way to buy them now? And then they did. Like, I also feel like it was interesting that there was the whole microtransactions was kind of brought up, but not solidified.
No, I'm with you. Yeah.
And so that's what I read. I don't know if that's part of what you were, when you were saying to me, if you're reading this like I'm reading this, but I took it as, at some point, we're either going to get microtransactions for things like this, either these particular ones or better new ones at some point, which people will probably also get upset about. But, and then, or who's to say, like, 90% of the other stuff they've ever done that's exclusive in this game, maybe it's timed. Maybe they're changing it to be timed, and you're just getting all this cool stuff now. And 2 years down the road, they're going to be like, here, just like Xbox, take a Hawk Moon. You know, I don't know, but, like, my biggest thing is, like, I get that it could read a certain way, but for me, I have never felt like Bungie, at least Bungie, is trying to take advantage of me at all. You know, like, they go way out of their way to thank the people that have been there from the beginning, and to listen and to give us stuff. And I mean, as dumb as it is, like little things like jack-o'-lights, unless they bring them back, that's another stupid little thing that year one people only ever experienced. You know, as dumb as it is, it's a fun little thing they gave us that they didn't need to ever, you know, or just the jukebox down in the basement. They didn't have to do stuff like that, but they know it's fun for us, and all these little things here and there. And I feel like if you're gonna be upset with anybody personally, be upset with Activision, because chances are, as far as marketing goes, they're probably the ones more in charge of it. Let's be honest.
Correct.
It's money. Activision, money. Bungie, money, not so much. But like,
I feel like all of this marketing stuff was like a poorly timed April Fool's joke from Activision. It's like we're in June. Like, you could have done that a couple months ago and it might have been funny, but like to kind of, I guess, release things as they did, but then kind of, you know, have this step back to please everyone. Like, if it was planned to be that way, I just feel like it was really poorly executed. Like, if you were planning on these extra additions, I feel like it just all should have been laid on the table at once, you know. But
well, I'm not saying necessarily that it was planned on, but that, because you have the issue of we don't know how much of this decision on how things were going to be presented and what was going to be offered is Bungie and how much is Activision. We're kind of assuming, many people are assuming it's all Bungie, and some of us, like me, are assuming it's 90% Activision, and we don't know.
No,
so my thing is like
that. Oh, go ahead. No, finish. Go ahead.
I just say, for all we know, it could be that Activision was the one who laid out most of the marketing for this, and then Bungie is the one who went, hey, hold on a second, as they're releasing it. We know these people. And it's the same as if you read the last paragraph of what Luke Smith says, which I'm sorry, I feel like so many people skipped over it. Please go read it. The last paragraph in his response, when he sits there and says,
I was just going to bring this up.
Yeah, it bugs us. He says personally himself, it bugs the crap out of him that they don't have a way to better say thank you right now. And that's something they've been trying to work on. So who's to say they haven't had a big fight with Activision or within the company, and they're fighting for us, and they're trying to find a way to do as much as they can for us. They care, and that's what threw me off, is no matter how the rest of his interview sounded, and by sounded I mean read, like, you read that last paragraph, and maybe it doesn't make up for it to you, but it proves how much he even personally cares about us.
Well, I tell you what, that Eurogamer interview was really awesome. Like any feelings that I had that were negative about all of this quickly went away. Like I read snark, like I'm friends with Hegemony on Twitter, and so I'm able to read between the lines. But I really appreciated Eurogamer for asking these questions. Like, they asked exactly what I wanted to hear, and Luke Smith said exactly what I was hoping he would say, because I read that as right now as well. But you're right, Belle. This last paragraph, he says, I wish I had a better way. I wish I had a way of better telling players that I was there back then, that I had a better way of embracing the legacy of my time with the game. This is something that we on the development team talk about all the time. It's really important that we figure out ways to embrace the legacy that players created in the first year. I'm not going to talk about how we're going to do that, but it's right in the forefront of our brains. It's missing right now in Destiny. And seriously, like, this is something that's been on my mind as well, you know, especially because you're buying all of this other stuff. Anybody can go in and get a Mythoclast. Anybody can go in and get, Vision of Confluence, which is seriously one of the best weapons in the game. Like, I don't have a way of saying that I was here. I mean, except of course, if you want to look at it, I do have that Frontier shader. I do have the both of those emblems from that time period, from the beta, and also that specific day during the beta. I mean, those are ways that I can share that, but I don't know. I really thought the Luke Smith interview was good, and I can see how in text it could be taken way far wrong, and especially because he is so curt. I mean, in that Bungie Vidoc, he says he wants to wear Crota's ass like a hat. Like, Like if this person, if you can't,
and then the noise, the sound
right,
effect. Oh,
right, and then the pleased look on his face as he fits it just perfectly, you know, like.
I still get the feeling he didn't expect that to actually make it into it, because you can like
Absolutely.
see him look off screen and he's like nervous, and then like I swear, like when my husband made that cartoon of him wearing Oryx on his head, and then Shaq's wearing Oryx, the person from Bungie, on his head, and saying you should have been more specific. And it's like, we know he saw it because somebody from Bungie let me know that they made sure that he saw it. And all he kind of was like, yeah, I saw that. How did he word it? Basically, I saw that horrifying thing. And it's like, and he never like commented on it, nothing, even though half of Bungie did. So it's like, you can kind of tell, I don't think he expected that. So he got that reaction. And then right after that, he gets like hate mail up the wazoo. Like the poor guy, I want to give him a hug. Like,
Right, his poor
Well,
wazoo.
he was sick during all of this too. Like he was feeling like crap, and he was probably. I mean, I could just see I could see the whole Eurogamer interview being like, I've had so many of these, I'm tired of it. And he might have just been at the end of his rope too, you know.
Right.
I mean, they did say
and
it
he's
was a
getting
good
asked questions that aren't
interview.
his thing.
Yeah, it's like asking
He's
a
not
mechanic how to
marketing.
detail your car. Don't
Right.
ask mechanics those questions.
They may know the answers, but that's not who you ask. And it just, I don't know.
I think
You know, I kind of
anyone
feel
that
like
took Luke wrong in this interview really needs a good lesson in Luke.
Well, you know,
Yes.
I think what it is like Luke was at one point part of, you know, he did Deej's job, you know, he spoke to the community, and I feel like he's just been out of that game for so long. Like I experience this when I go out into the world. Like I'm basically in these four walls all the time raising some kids, so it's a treat when I get to go outside and do something and interact with people, and I end up, you know, like trying to parent other parents. What are you doing? Like, you can't just eat this in front of your kid right here. Like, you should pay for this. You know, like someone's going to come over here and take you into a back room and call the police. But that's not something I should be doing. It's not my job to tell these people this. So I kind of feel like there's also that aspect. Like Luke went out there and he tried to be cutesy, and it just didn't play well. You know, there's too many people out there who just you know, they're not reading between the lines, and they're pissed off because they don't have what they want. I feel like a great majority of the community is just crying babies. You know, but at the same time, you know, it's something that I think that even they didn't want to do. You know, like they don't want people beating down their door with hate mail. I'm certain of this. I'm positive that they don't want this.
Who does really?
Right, absolutely. So I'm glad to see that they came up with an answer, but it wasn't even the right answer. Because as much as I want that new emote, I also don't want to pay $20 for it. I mean, I totally am. I also want those shaders, you know, shaders and emotes. Like, I want these things. But I mean, was it even the right answer? Let's start with you, River. You know, are you going to be taking advantage of the $20 collector's edition digital stuff?
Absolutely.
Okay, so for Xbox One, you are buying the Taken King, and then just the Taken King, and then that $20 pack. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. What about you, Crimson Warlock?
Right now, I have a physical collector's edition pre-ordered, but if something comes in the woodworks that's better, that doesn't have, like, say, the original games, then I will get that physical edition. But I will probably just stay with my collector's edition.
Jez.
Yeah, I am. $20 is nothing for that.
You know, I talk
For
about it all the time.
To me, the $20 it's not so much value like that people look at it normally. It's literally a collector's value.
Yeah, you know, I talk about it all the time. I talk about how I would just throw money at the game if they were going to sell these things. And now, you know, now they've done it. Like, I don't view this as a microtransaction. I view this as a very specific set of things that they were selling with this much larger package. And now they're breaking that part off for those who don't want to go in and rebuy all this stuff. I don't really want to rebuy all that stuff, but I do want those things. Agrios, what about you?
I'm right now, as it sits, as long as the physical collector's edition, the Taken King that comes with it, doesn't require me to use the disc and is in itself a DLC code. Are you sure of that?
It will. I promise you, I am 99% sure that's why they did the whole you have to have all of them together like that originally, is my
Planet
guess.
Destiny told me the opposite of what you told me.
How
They told me
how
that
do they know?
They don't have a no, just like you don't have a no.
Right.
But I'm just saying, I'm getting conflicting reports from prominent members of the community as to whether this is or not, and I haven't found anyone able to provide me with a black and white answer.
Well, here's how it can't be one, though, is because if they have another expansion, or if they have another thing that uses discs, and they try to go back to it, you can't have 2 discs in your console.
Right,
I have a feeling this is download.
Don't have discs, usually.
But what some people are saying is that this disc will contain Destiny, both expansions, and the Taken King, both attached to the use of that specific disc. Even if it's downloading content to your system, people are saying that it's attached to the specific use of that specific disc.
See, when you look at there was a picture originally of the collector's edition, and next to the expansions it said downloadable.
Okay. I'd love to find it in black and white. I was looking earlier today, and I could not find it in black and white.
The reason I assumed is because
collector's editions were downloadable for sure or not.
Okay, because you get a disc tin, and so I'm assuming that includes everything, not that you're getting the vanilla game in a new disc tin, and then 3.
So here's my problem.
Digital things.
With the collector's edition, if it makes me use the physical disc, that gives me problems because I have myself and my girlfriend that both want to play Destiny together at times, and I have a digital edition originally for that purpose. So if my Taken King portion is attached to my physical edition, then it totally renders my digital edition irrelevant, or I have to buy a second Taken King so that my girlfriend can play with me.
Right.
Yeah. And that goes back to
I'm hoping that it comes as a DLC code, and I can just put that code in. And if I want to sell off the Destiny disc that came with my collector's edition, and sell off the 2 original expansion DLC codes, and get some of my money back. Not that they're worth anything.
I hope that's how it is for you, but I'm guessing because of the way that they decided not to split it. The fact that the fact that there isn't a collector's edition that also includes the physical stuff. This is gonna sound weird, but part of me says that that's because you're not getting a disc tin, right? And to me, like that, it would incorporate everything. And I guess I'm a little confused about why it would have to be digital, because like I did the original game I own as a disc, right? Like I have to have that in to play even when I have my digital versions of the DLCs. And my assumption is for the next two DLCs are going to be only available as digital again, so you could still have your disc that you purchased with your collector's edition that has everything on it, and then just download those DLCs. And then when Destiny 2 hits, my assumption is it's going to be the same as, say, Mass Effect, where you don't have to have your original disc in. It grabs it from your account and puts it onto your new one, even if you have it where you're playing it on a disc, right? You're not going to need that original disc at all anymore. So as long as the next 2 DLCs are digital only, why couldn't they have put everything onto this disc for the collectors?
But you can get the digital Taken King right now only, and have the first game only digital, and then just pick up the next 2 expansions digitally and have everything digitally.
Right.
Or you can just have picked up the original day 1 vanilla Destiny disc, then bought the first 2 expansions, then bought the Taken King expansion digitally, and then just be picking up the last 2. So that's what I'm hoping, is that I'm really, really hoping that it's not attached to that disc.
See, if people already have the Destiny physical, the disc, what's going to happen if they have to go back to previous content? Like, it is sometimes reading the disc. It's not like they're going to re-put all that stuff on the same disc. That's why I think it's digital.
Interesting.
Wait, if somebody already has...
Like, if you have if you have the Destiny game as a physical copy, and then you buy Taken King, and it also has a disc, what happens when you go back to Earth?
I don't get what you.
No, I think
Right, I'm
what she- I
saying
think
that's
what-
why the disc would have to have
that
all four
of-
things on it.
Right, it would have all 4 things on the disc, or you would need the
Right.
disc to access.
Or it's
all
digital.
things. So you no longer need your original Destiny disc. That's a new original Destiny disc, but with
Right.
the Taken King and 2 expansions tacked on to it, or attached to
Right.
it that you need them to
I
access
think
it.
it depends on how much they put on the original disc, like how close that was to max.
That's true. That's true.
Okay,
Or they
Yeah, I
could
don't
put little
I hope you're right that
portions
it is
of
digital.
each. Or they could put little portions of each on the disc, and then the rest would be downloaded onto your hard drive.
right.
True.
Fantastic Jackie, who's in the chat, just said to River, nothing is better than Halo, and I couldn't agree more. Nothing is way better than Halo. It's all about punctuation, and she knows it. BelleBunny, so are you going to be purchasing this $20 additional content, or are you just going straight for the jugular? Oh, hi, sweetheart. We have a very special guest. Lucy, hi.
Aw.
Do you want to come say hi to everybody, sweetheart? Say hi.
Hi.
Hi, Lucy. Hi.
Mommy has come to claim her, and she's not happy about that.
That's a future dame right there, by the way.
Say hi, Wiggies.
Oh.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
We're talking about Destiny. You want to talk about Destiny?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
All right, go see Mommy's.
That was so darn cute.
Bye, sweetheart.
No,
Bye-bye.
Oh no.
She misses Daddy.
My problem is, okay, so I have 2 Xboxes in my house, one for my husband and one for me, and then I have a PlayStation. So I feel like if I buy it for me on my Xbox, then he rightfully has to get it on his Xbox. So now that's another $40. And then because of Guardian Radio and stuff, like, I mean, I have to have the new emotes to be on there, right? So I'd have to buy it on there too. So that's like extra $60 tacked on to already buying it at least twice. So
Man.
probably not.
Wait a minute here. Can't you just buy the physical collector's edition for your PS4 and then buy a digital collector's edition on your Xbox and use it on both you and your
We
husband's
can use,
Xbox?
right, the Taken King will be on both, but items don't get shared. We tried it. Because I used to have the Ghost, like the red Ghost, right? When we shared an Xbox. Then I got my own Xbox, and it still shows it there, but I can't use it. So we did the whole, like, setting up our Xboxes as if they're each other's homes or whatever you're supposed to do so you can share games. The games work fine, but the content
It works for me on
connected...
PlayStation.
Maybe Xbox doesn't
My girlfriend
transfer,
has
I don't know.
access to all the codes I put in for my main game.
Yeah, it didn't transfer for ours at all. He's
So-
got
Yeah,
it.
but-
My
So
old
did
account
you
has it.
purchase that content, or did he purchase that content? Because I
We
think I think
both-
that's what
wait.
it is. So like
Well, it was under it was on one shared console. I don't know which name. I think it originally went under his.
okay, because that's
Well,
what I
see,
think
it
the
only
difference
appears
is.
on his account if he's playing on the console that's labeled as your main console.
Right, we have, like I said, we share games that way just fine. Like, we have it functioning that way, where we have each other set as our main our home consoles, but then we play on our own separate ones, right? So
That's
we
weird. I don't
share
understand
games,
why it's
but the
not sharing
content won't go. I don't know why. So
Oh, wait. So,
yeah,
Belle,
Well, it's the little
You-
extras.
right.
Belle,
What?
you have your Xbox One, and that one's set as your home Xbox,
No.
right?
His
Why
is
not?
set as my home, and mine is set as his home. But then we have our accounts on our own personal Xboxes. That way, we can share games. I don't know why it works. It's the weirdest thing ever, but it does.
But
What is
so
it
why
that you're
don't you
allowed to
set
have
your so why don't you set your Xbox as your home Xbox?
Because then I don't have
he
access
wouldn't
to
be
his
able
games.
to play the content that she purchased.
Right.
See, the way I have it set up here is my girlfriend plays on my
What?
PlayStation, and I play on my girlfriend's PlayStation. Then everything I buy, since I'm signing into my account on her PlayStation, I can still play because I bought it. Then everything that I bought, she can play too because she's signing in on my PlayStation, and anybody who signs in on my PlayStation can play the stuff that I bought. But only on guest PlayStations can I play the stuff that I buy.
River's head just literally exploded like 5 times. I'm telling you.
I don't think River really realized how game sharing works.
Yeah,
No, I don't,
had to look
because
it
I
up,
only have
and I
one
still
console.
don't get it. We did
Well,
it, but I don't get it.
Basically,
No, you can
the
explain
two
it to me
places
later.
Oh, well, it's not that hard. It's just wherever you are at, as long as you're signed in, you can play your stuff.
Mhm.
However, anyone can play your stuff if they're on your home console.
Okay.
So
So
if you
why
just-
don't you just play your own stuff on your own console?
Because then
Because-
other people can't
Look,
play
if
your
you
stuff.
and I traded, River, if you made your gaming console at your house my PlayStation, and I made my gaming console your PlayStation, but then we signed into those PlayStations on our own accounts, we could both play everything that each other bought for free.
Like, okay, for example, River, say right now my husband's Xbox thinks that it's my home Xbox. Like, my account, I don't play on it, but it has my account connected to it, as if that's the main account on it, right? And then his Xbox, or my Xbox, is set as his home. Okay, so we just kind of flip-flopped, but we play on our physical Xboxes, right? So now say he goes and purchases Goat Simulator. We actually did this. He purchases Goat Simulator. I sign on to my Xbox. It shows up as something I can now go play as well, even though we only purchased it once. Because it's like it's sharing between both accounts. I don't know why you have to have the home thing. The home thing's weird to me. It doesn't quite make sense, but it's a label it gives it so that it recognizes that you have access. It's like it's saying, oh, BelleBunny's account has access to anything put on this Xbox on the left here, which is actually his, and vice versa. It's just a way of labeling it so that it knows. I don't know. I didn't build it. It works. Don't question it. It's a great way to get games, especially if you have 2 consoles of the same type in the same household. Don't buy things twice ever again. But it only works with digital stuff.
River.
Okay.
If you have a physical
River.
disc, it doesn't transfer.
Moving on.
Well, okay. Yeah,
Hey.
I'd explain it in a different way, but that's all right. Well, we can move on.
Sorry.
Wait, I got a way I can
Okay.
explain it again too.
Right, I could even explain it as well.
Oh boy.
Let's continue with this Destiny podcast.
Oh wait, that's right,
This
Destiny.
this
Yeah.
this week on
So
Gaming
far, it's
Report,
been game sharing and economics.
Right, economics and game sharing. Yeah, let's move on. I mean, I'm certain that we're going to make our way back to this Taken King and things like this. I know that I've forgot 1 or 2 things that I wanted to do, but real quick, I just wanted to. Lawn Boy asked what was in this expansion. Basically, why is it $40? And I'm just going to say that it comes with a brand new landmass. Like instead of retreading some of the things that we've already done before, this dreadnought, at very least, this dreadnought is going to provide us with a new area to patrol and explore. Like
There's a raid. Period.
in
$40
that,
for a raid.
right?
And actually, there's 2 areas because they've also opened up Phobos, previously only a PvP map, for exploration.
Yes.
Okay, so there's no less than 2 new land masses, and this, to me, is really huge. You know, it's not just the reef. The reef was super awesome. Happy to go to the reef. It's cool hanging out there, but having an entirely new area to explore is really exciting. And they're also talking about an entire campaign, like a totally brand new campaign with a compelling ending. Additionally, there's going to be multiple additional strikes, and also, what else was there?
new maps,
New public events.
New game modes. There's new PvP game modes.
Right. So for me,
Subclasses.
to me, $40 is a great deal for what we're getting. You know, especially if we were to compare it against what has come before for the $20 increment. Like this is going to be excellent. And so
Another way of looking at it is, am I getting at least 2/3 of what I got in original Destiny? And I'd say the answer is pretty close to yes. As far as, am I getting at least what 2/3 shipped with original Destiny? Seems that way.
I think a better way to put it is, am I getting as much as both expansions? To be honest.
That's another way of looking at it too, yeah.
Because I don't think that's 2/3 of Destiny. I think it's closer to half.
Well, we get 2 land masses instead of 4 land masses, and we get a subclass, whereas we had 2 subclasses. We'll get 1 subclass.
Right, but to be honest, I mean, I could be
That would
totally
make it a
wrong here, but
third.
Phobos probably isn't as big as far as the number of places you end up going to. My guess is not as big as
The moon?
any of the planets we've had.
Because
right.
if it's as big as the moon, I would count that as a good chunk of landmass. Like if they give
I think
us,
it's still going to be good. I mean, for all we know, maybe you can patrol both places. I don't know. But
The radius of Phobos is 7 miles. It can't have too much.
hey,
Well,
maybe they
I-
fit them
we're
all
only
in real
exploring-
close together.
Moon. I mean, we
2
could be
steps,
exploring
you have a new
all of
mission.
Phobos. It's still bigger than the moon.
Well, the moon would be like if all of the moon was laid out around Phobos, that would probably be about half of it, at least. It's not
That's
very
okay.
much.
So then mostly like the surface of the moon instead of going down into the Hellmouth.
Well, I mean, if you took the Helma stuff and put it on the surface and stretched it out, it would be about this.
okay, so River,
Imagine if you go all the way around it.
was there something specific you wanted to talk about, or you just want to make sure we get to everything that there is to talk about? No, River?
Oh, was that for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to leave the mic. Somebody lost their binky.
Ah.
Somebody was mad. So what was the question
The
there?
question is there anything specific you wanted to get to? Like, I know that you're not able to stay for all of the times that this podcast is extended past the hour that it was originally supposed to be. I just want to make sure that we get to everything you want to talk about, or was it just a general moving on?
Oh no, that was a general moving on, but I do have to leave here in like a couple minutes. I did want to say that one of the things I want out of the raid is to have it where there's more branching off paths and dead ends. And also I would like to have some sort of puzzle where you have to split it into 2 teams of 3 and then go into like different rooms or different, really separate them out to where you can't see each other anymore. And then, have like waves of enemies fight each team or something, or you have to hit like a button within 10 seconds of each other or something
And
like
then
that.
tell me you want matchmaking with people who don't use their mics.
Oh yeah, please. Come on.
I'm sorry, I had to.
No,
I was
totally
imagining what
legit.
that would be like.
I feel bad for the people who that's their thing, where they're just so upset that Bungie has activities where there isn't matchmaking. Like I feel bad for them because they can't see into the future where it's just a nightmare. Like
Right.
would I want to do a Nightfall with somebody that I'm not able to talk to? No, I've done it before and it's not impossible, but to think about trying to do a raid like something that's even further out, it's insanity, and I feel bad for those people who don't see that because it could be really bad. Like one of the things that is both really awesome and not awesome at all is the fact that weeklies are now always match made because it is sometimes a nightmare. Like certainly I will get put into a group where those other 2 people are killing it. They didn't need me at all. I'd killed 27 things and they each killed 97 things. Like there's been those times, but then there's the times where, I get put in with somebody who's just going to drop as soon as they die because they're trying to get that bounty. They're trying to get that, defeat a strike without dying bounty. They die. They say, I don't care about what you guys are doing or your time. That's difficult. That's difficult to go with. But yes.
I opened Pandora's box on accident. Whoops.
Right. Absolutely. So yeah, I don't know.
But I agree, River. I want splitting of teams.
If anyone
Really
from
want
Bungie's
splitting up.
listening, here's a mechanic to use: mind control. I want my friends to become controlled by the AI and let me shoot them.
What? All right.
It's very common in MMOs.
I like it. I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds like fun.
One of the mechanics of a lot of bosses is one person will become mind controlled and the entire raid will have to kill him. Or at least bring him down to almost dead.
Ooh, that would
Like
be
if
kind of
Oryx
cool.
tried to turn one of your guardians into a Taken. Oh,
Yeah, that
oh.
would
Or
be
maybe-
cool.
Goodbye,
used-
flawless raider, but
And this was used in what game?
World of Warcraft. At
World
the
of
very
Warcraft.
least.
I
think.
swore against that game, but I might have to try it.
I think it wouldn't be as effective in a first-person shooter setting like this one would be.
Well, all it would do is take you to the third-person mode, and the AI would shoot for you.
It'd be terrible if you had Yellowhorn equipped.
Well, there might be some other.
I'm just saying,
Like-
man.
He might just go around punching dudes. Like, you don't know how they're gonna plan it.
Right. I think
No,
that's
Jez,
exciting.
stop it. What are you doing?
Oh, fantastic. Jackie says 2 words, Destiny Forge. Hell yes. I'm just waiting for that. I'm just
Yeah.
waiting for that.
I've
That's
done giving up on that
You'll
one.
be waiting a while too.
No, totally. And I accept that. You know, if we were to look at Destiny on the same timeline as Halo, we still got a couple of releases, actual going to the store and buying another version. You know, and so I will be there. I will be there when that happens because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's do it. Moving on.
All right, moving on. Now we've already kind of discussed a lot of the stuff I had here, so I'm going to try to skip through this and get us back onto a track as best I can.
Awesome.
We're going to
I'm gonna get out of here.
Okay.
Have a good one, River. Thanks for
Yeah,
joining
out,
us.
River.
Yeah, my shout out is to, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. It's like T0NIN0T.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yep,
Tis on
that
it.
guy. It's-
I don't know.
I just want everybody to check out his Destiny Rewind series that he's got on YouTube. It is it's a really good reminder of all the things that we've done as year one players or day one players, you know, depending on who you are. A really good reminder of everything that we've done as a community. And I'm just going to put everything since the beginning of 2015 right there in the chat.
I like it.
That's awesome.
See,
Mhm.
I don't know about that because it was missing blindfolded Crota. It was missing side
No,
of Crota.
that's quarter 2. He's got quarter 2 coming out here in like a few weeks. Besides,
Wow.
quarter 2 is not even done yet.
Oh, I thought that was the year to date.
Nah, that's like quarter 1. What is that? January, February, March. So into March.
I
But
think
anyways.
it's, I have gigabytes and gigabytes of video, you know, saved up from even back into the beta. So it's going to be cool to look through some of that stuff, you know, as different iterations move on. Like even now, if you look at the like how the information is displayed in your inventory, it's different. So yeah, things like that are very cool. It was a really good video, and I'm excited about that series. Good shout out, River.
Yeah, thank you. So, anyways, good night, guys. Take
See you
care.
later.
Enjoy yourself.
Have a good one.
hmm
All right. Show's over, everyone. Okay, so where are we going, Agrios?
Okay. So I guess we dropped off in the middle of talking about the Luke Smith interview there, and then we were going to go into the weekly update. I was going to read the last paragraph there, but you already read most of that earlier, Remy. So I'm just going to read the small little section that seemed to get people fired up so that we know what's going on going into this weekly update that we're going to talk about, all right?
Good idea.
The interview got a little weird, or at least read a little weird. Right after an exchange again about the collector's edition modes is where the main controversy arises. Luke Smith, okay, but I want to poke at you on this a little bit. Eurogamer, poke at me? Luke Smith, you're feeling anxious because you wanted this exclusive content, but you don't know yet how much you want it. The notion of spending money is making you anxious. I can see it. Eurogamer, I do want them. I would buy them. Luke Smith, if I fired up a video game right now, if I fired up a video game right now and showed you the emotes, you would throw money at the screen. Eurogamer, what I'm saying is that fan frustration is not because they don't understand the proposition. It comes regardless of how cool the exclusive content is. the frustration, and mine as a fan, is that of the method of acquiring it requires me to rebuy content I bought a year ago. Luke Smith. It's about value, the player's assessment of the value of the content. So that's the main section there that seems to have gotten the rise out of people, in particular the throwing money at the screen. And a lot of people, myself included, thinks that, maybe that probably in conversation came out a lot more lighthearted than maybe it sounds there. And when you're reading everything recorded on the internet, black and white, one after another, seeing the collector's editions not being happy with them, just finding out about it, and then reading this afterward, I can see where that's going to, spark something in some people.
Yeah, definitely. You know what, though? I 100% agree with him. If he showed me what it was, I'm already waiting to throw money at the screen. I really am. So I think that this read wrong because there was no, and then you will be able to buy that separately for a nominal fee. I feel like that was what was missing here, is there was no don't worry, we've got you covered. And I feel like he couldn't say that, maybe because they didn't know that that's what was going to happen. Maybe that's what they were working on. Yeah.
Something that River and Bell said earlier about what he said when he posed the question, or when he said the statement, he's like, so surely you must be saying you want to buy them separately. Something like along those lines. I was paraphrasing. Yeah. But he, to me, that came off almost as though that, like, maybe there are, feelings that they shouldn't have been bundled like that, and he was encouraging people to speak out about it.
Right.
Oh.
Well, yeah, I think I don't think this is his intention, but it seems like they might be gauging the response of this interview as for future plan ideas.
Right,
like,
that's
even
how
if they
rather
weren't.
than already knowing they had a plan, like you said, it seemed almost like maybe they were already getting this feedback and trying to put their influence back out, saying, hey, we think you're right, say it.
Right.
It's kind of like you said, don't get mad at Bungie, but they are our best conduit towards Activision.
Oh, and on that, too, I meant to say this before, the Activision Bungie thing. They actually fought for very, very good rights and control of their development of the game and their control of how the game's put out there. That was one of the reasons they bought themselves out from Microsoft, is they didn't want to ever release that control again. And as evident in the original contract we have from Microsoft, Activision and Bungie, they maintain almost equal rights in what happens with their game. So they should pretty much be held nearly as accountable as Activision. Almost as accountable as Activision as far as these things go. I don't know internally how it works. I would imagine Activision probably leads with the marketing, but right. Bungie definitely had a look at this before it went public.
Oh yeah, they probably had a look at it. I'm not trying to suck up to them, but from my perspective, if I was working on this game right now, and this might sound horrible, but if I was working on this game right now and Activision's marketing group walked up to me and said, hey, how does this look? And you scan it over and you look at it from the perspective of how do we reach out to new people? And yeah, we have this VIP thing. That looks good. I'm going to turn right back around and start working on Taken King, which is coming out in a couple of months, because that's where my team's focus most likely is if Activision's in charge of marketing. You know what I'm saying?
That Bungie, who are associating with the marketing department at Activision, aren't really, the ones who are actually making the game. I'd hope that they're just associating. Right. Only job.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I would hope that I don't know. Maybe Bungie is completely to blame for this. Either way, I still think that they had reasons behind it, even if we don't agree with them, and maybe they weren't the best thought out reasons to us. But I don't know. I feel like part of it is I still feel like we can't all really say anything about the value of any of this until us year one people who are the ones complaining actually get everything we're supposed to get. Because we're still basing this off of the word more, and we don't know what that means. And until we know what it means, I
And that word war is coming attached to the Taken King as well. I mean, this was our first look at the Taken King. We don't know what else they were bringing to the table in the Taken King. Surely they didn't even tell half of it yet. I mean, they have all these months to cover. They've got to have more things to unveil. I mean, I hope they didn't drop the bomb all at once. But they have alluded to having more things to unveil yet. You're going to be we have to show you. They've said a number of times, you know.
Right. So I think for them, like I think part of the problem is there's been a misinterpretation on both sides as to what the actual issue is. And I think it's because a section of the community is complaining about the price. And a section of the community is complaining about having to pay that particular price to repurchase things. And another section is just going, I want stuff. Okay? And I think the problem is they're sitting here trying to balance out, okay, out of those three, is one more important to satisfy? How can we actually satisfy all three? And that's pretty much damn near impossible. I'm sorry, but like somebody's always gonna be pissed off. You know, like to be honest, when I read what they were doing, part of me was like, okay, well I get they kind of need to fix this and make things better with the community, but at the same time I was like, well, those people that Remy just called whining babies just won.
Right. Exactly.
And that did, like, I can't help it no matter how much, like, I want everybody happy, don't get me wrong, but part of me was kind of like, really? And then when I read Luke Smith's apology, I was like, what? Where'd the Luke Smith I've gotten used to go? Like,
well, I think the key phrase there is when Remy said a majority of the community are whiny babies. Well, you know, money talks, and if they're a majority of your customers, you need to, I don't want to say, you know, just completely cave into them, but you need to cater to them.
Yes. Yep. And that's why I think they did the right move with that. It's just like there's part of me that can't help but be like, dang it. You know, like, it's just like, I wish there had been some kind of, and they probably can't do this because for saving face purposes, they need to be as customer service friendly as possible right now, right? Because so many people are rubbed the wrong way. But it's like, I couldn't help but, like, as I'm reading it in my head, fill in the little gaps with but if you'd said it slightly nicer, if you guys hadn't stood outside our door with pitchforks, but instead said it in a mature manner, like some people did, like, it's like I couldn't help but fill that in my head as I read it. Like, you know, or like Luke Smith's apology, where it's just kind of like, I swear in my head, I'm like filling it in with these, like, mumblings in between of this is dumb. I'm just a funny guy. I'm never talking about Oryx ass hats or anything ever again publicly. I'm going back to bed because I don't feel good. Like,
you know, when this all started happening, this would have been the greatest time for them to nerf Gallahorn.
Oh my god!
Because they can't really get more bad press.
Oh yeah, that would be like.
No, that's not true. That's not true because.
Well, see, it would just take it off of this, or it would either take it off of this, or it would either divert the attention, or it would be blown over much more quickly.
I mean, I guess because it doesn't have to do with money. Because I'm sitting here thinking like the whole Red Bull thing is just adding on to this for some people. It's like 1 minute everybody's like, oh yay, $20, I can do that, and then it's like, oh Red Bull, I hate you, and it's like, oh god.
It's $20 plus 4. Oh no.
Plus 4. But anyway, sorry.
That's something I want to talk about really quick. Is just my thoughts on all of this, and you know the main problem I'm seeing, and if this is my personal opinion on the outside looking in, but I feel like when it comes to Destiny, like Activision is just really disconnected from the Destiny community, and so we've got our community who's upset with these marketing issues, the pricing of the game. Like, I get that. But then we have the Red Bull thing, which is, again, kind of like icing on the cake to all of this. But the other thing that, to me, seems almost like not more proof that Activision doesn't really, I guess, get the Destiny community as much is, and I might get in trouble for this, but I don't know who Flamesword is. Like, I don't know either. Until the Red Bull thing, I never heard of this guy.
Yeah,
but you know, when they were doing House of Wolves, Bungie brought in 3 big streamers from the Destiny community. You know, I'm not
Well,
saying that like they needed to do that again, but at least bring maybe someone that the Destiny community can relate to. I after hearing about this Red Sword, I looked at it and I looked at his YouTube, and in the last month, he's only had like 7 videos about Destiny.
here's the
But
thing:
these
whenever
people who
Red Bull
stream a
does this,
lot do one every single day. Like that's kind of. I mean, they could be bringing more, wanting to bring new
But they're
people
not
in.
tied with Red Bull, I guess is the thing.
Yeah,
Red Bull
but
is probably the
that
one in
guy.
charge of that, not even Activision, you know?
exactly. I actually read up on this. Flamesword is a major league gamer who is sponsored by Red Bull, and anytime Red Bull does a contest, they have a Red Bull major league gamer as the representative for every single one
Which,
of the contests.
can I
So
point
they
out
had to pick
something?
a video gamer that was, sponsored by them.
Right. Can I point out, though, that to me that almost means the fact that they chose Red Bull, the fact that Red Bull, they know, does this, says to me as a giant hint that since we've already had trials and we're working more towards competitive content, and now we have an MLG guy doing some special quest thing for this game, wonder where Destiny's headed, hint, hint.
Now,
Like,
just so we know, this contract with Red Bull, this sponsorship deal, apparently has been in works since they did a Red Bull launch release where they gave away a PlayStation and they gave away games with cans of Red Bulls to gamers. So this has apparently been all in the long term for them.
right.
Also, Flamesword has apparently been quite into Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 4, MLG. So it's not like he's foreign to Bungie, just not
Just
this
Destiny.
Bungie.
Yeah. Like that's the thing is like I know that he's done Halo stuff. I was looking at his YouTube videos and his Twitch channel, and it's all like a whole bunch of Halo stuff. But I like because of that, I'm just like, well, how into Destiny is this guy, and is it smart to try
Right.
and represent Destiny with
But he's
kind
not
of this
representing
no-name?
Destiny. I think that's the way you have to look at it, is he's
Right.
representing Red Bull and MLG, and they just happen to be doing something with Destiny because it's a big deal right
Yeah,
now.
but now people who don't know Destiny, I mean, yeah, they'll associate him with that, and I just to me it's
do you see
another
how little they're
disconnect of what
pushing
the
him, though?
yeah
Like, they
yeah
have a little teaser that's like a few seconds long, but the rest of the site is focused on Red Bull and Destiny. So, like, I get what you're saying, but part of me feels like they're not going to do a huge focus on him. And knowing Bungie, my guess is the way they'll compensate is like they did with Trials, where they did the first time Trials opened up, they did the whole first streamer to get a flawless, the whole charity stream thing they did with like Miss 5000 Watts and Laced Up Lauren and all those people. They'll probably do something like that. The first person to complete the quest or something, to kind of pull in the people we know and love, and we'll forget about Flamesword altogether because.
Right, and I don't think he's going to replace, like you said, they were bringing in King Athalion and Professor Broman and stuff before. I don't think he's replacing them. I still expect them to have a reveal event with a community member, and
I think they're planning on doing a reveal.
All in Red Bull's court, as far as I can tell. Like as far as I can know, Bungie had nothing to do with this. That there was a very limited amount of athletes they could even pick from to represent this contest.
It is odd because I don't connect to them, but
my point is like this isn't per se like all on Bungie's shoulders. This to me seems much more of an Activision move, but it seems like a disconnect of what's already established for the Destiny community. And like Activision's made their money back from Destiny, but it seems like they don't care enough to keep that investment going, to keep that personal relationship going. I mean, we've kind of gotten the pricing issue with House of Wolves was pretty much geared to new people. And then we have this Red Bull thing, which to me again is, well, we know that there's people that play Destiny, but we're not going to take an established community member. We're going to do something with Red Bull because we partnered with them for other games that we have. And it's just kind of like Activision's doing their own thing, and Bungie's trying to do their best to play middleman and make everyone happy.
However,
and it's kind of like, come on, Activision, if you're wanting to put money and you're proud of this new IP that you built, like let's show that you actually do care.
Yeah, put it in the Doritos.
However, if you look at it from, again, not to keep talking marketing, but that's kind of what all this is. If you look at it from the marketing standpoint, it's good to have that for the game's life. If you look at the 10-year stretch of this game, it's really good to have a mix of the two. You have Bungie that cares like crazy, almost too much sometimes, about the community that's built around this game, and will always care slightly more about those people who have stuck by them from the beginning, or people who carried over from Halo, right? They obviously have that connection, and so they're always going to take care of us. Whereas Activision is doing a good job of reaching out to those new people, because part of the reason I think so much of Taken King is focused on new people is because I think we're forgetting E3 dropped a lot of new big games that are all coming out like almost immediately after Taken King. We're going to see, no matter how good this content is, we're going to see a huge drop off of players, even the ones that have been there from the beginning, for at least a chunk of time. Because, let's face it, a DLC versus an entire new game's going to win, you know? Like, so I think they're kind of Activision's trying to prepare for that by pulling in new and making the marketing spread out further. So I do wish that there was a little bit, I wish it at least appeared like they worked in unison better, because I think that's what bugs me, at least, is that I feel like when I look at them, I still see them as really, really separate companies, which is good, but I also feel like there's a lot of tug of war going on, almost too publicly feeling sometimes. Like, they don't state it, but you can feel it. You know what I mean? Like with this Red Bull and the collector's edition, there's like, you can feel there's something. And it's uncomfortable. So I would definitely agree. I wish that was there, but I do think having one that's focused on future players and one that's focused on current players is a good combination if they'll always work together well, if that makes sense.
Moving on.
Awkward silence. We're done.
You know, that's an involuntary motion right there too. Like I was tying my shoe, you know, and it was just like crickets. Moving on.
Sorry.
No, yeah, we are at T-minus 15 minutes to the end of the podcast.
This is why you don't invite me on.
This is why I do invite you on. You know, like this way I don't end up talking too much, and then I look like a jackass. You know, like.
Oh, so wait, you're saying I look like a jackass?
I think people want to hear you talk. I think people want to hear you talk. I think that they'll put up with listening to me talk.
Okay. So, because now we're in rapid fire mode, the quick note, I wanted to kind of pose a hypothetical question. The Red Bull stuff has an exclusive mission when the Taken King launches, and it says it's exclusive until January 2015.
Uh-huh.
Now, we've seen this before.
It's a 6-stage mission, too.
No, but we've seen this particular wording before, but we still don't have that Sparrow, or we don't have the skin from the Sparrow that you could get with GameStop.
This is true. This
Right,
is very true.
and people who didn't qualify for the tumblers still don't have tumblers.
Yeah, like me.
Oh,
I
you
got
don't have
it
a
too
Tumblr?
late.
Oh,
I have it on
that's sad.
Xbox, but on PlayStation I bought it like a week too late.
Oh. See, originally they data mined 4 different tumblers too, so there's 3 tumblers that never saw the light of day. They only released the one color pattern.
Yeah, there was some nice ones too.
That
I
orange
agree.
and green one was sweet.
So yeah, so let's move on.
Let's move on. Okay, well, where should we go with our remaining time? We only have a tiny little bit. Do you want me just to try to nutshell everything super quick, like?
Yeah, why don't you do that?
Or you do a
Okay.
post show.
Well, I'm unable to do a post show today, but
Fine. You're not invited. Anyway,
Fine,
shutting up,
come in.
go.
okay. So this week we had 2 weekly updates. In the first one we saw an apology from Luke Smith about how his interview was perceived,
Anyone who knows me, I can be sarcastic. Anyone who remembers the podcast I've done knows that I can be pretty blunt. Anyone who's watched me in Vidocs knows I'm pretty unpolished. And he goes on later to call himself an asshat, and wants to let all of the loyal fans know how much they care. They proceed to make the announcement about the new collector's edition DLC available for $20. And more or less, that was the first part of the update, in a nutshell. The second part of the weekly update, they talk about changes to Bungie.net and upcoming changes to Android. Now you'll be able to see do a variety of things with your friends list and your clan lists via Bungie.net and the app. And the fact that some of these things are coming, and the app is really exciting. I'm going to be happy to be able to interact with my clan mates via the app like that. It's going to help bring us together, since I hate going to Bungie.net. And then we have the movie of the week. It's an important one this week. On June 8th, 2015, we lost a fellow Guardian to cystic fibrosis, Joshua R. Stokel. He was he went for his doctorate or PhD to learn about what was going on with him, cystic fibrosis, and they're holding a benefit. The Dads of Destiny are coming up for cystic fibrosis. I encourage everyone to check that out. And they took submissions from the community of people doing salutes of different sorts and made a awesome montage in his honor. So I encourage everyone to check that out.
Outstanding. Outstanding. So you've seen it already?
Yes.
And did you feel like if you were that type of person that you would probably cry?
Yes.
Got it.
I cried.
Did you?
Yeah, if you're the
But
type
I'm
of
that
person
type
to
of
cry
person.
at that sort of thing, you're likely to cry. Like I have a bit of a different response. I get more of kind of a geek tingle to it, like, because it's kick ass.
That makes sense.
Well, it's
Like
a
I get
mix
more kind of
between
a
that-
happy excitement going for him. Like, dude, that's awesome. This dude has that. Like, wouldn't it
Right.
be? Like, imagine, you're remembered by the Destiny community that way. Like, if this dude actually could see now what's going on, dude, he'd be psyched.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see that. That's something that I would like. I would like to leave a mark on the Destiny community. Something that people take with them.
Mhm.
Hopefully, I don't have to die to do that. That sounds like I wouldn't know
Bungie
about
has-
it. You know?
Bungie has provided them a stack of the sought-after blacksmith shaders to give out as prizes during their charity stream. So if you need one of them, be sure to get over there if you're free. If not for the good cause, then get your blacksmith shader.
And so, how are you doing with that? How is all that going, Belle? Is everything straightened out and taken care of, or is there still openings?
I think it's mostly filled in, but there may be a couple of time slots on Sunday still open. But I think we're having the finalized schedule out tomorrow, and I'm hoping to get a full press kit out tomorrow as well for the community and for the people involved. So, but that is Saturday and Sunday, and I think it starts at noon Pacific? No, Eastern? Noon Eastern, I think, is the time zone they picked on Saturday, and runs for 36 or 48 hours. I don't know which one we've decided on now.
Well, as long as you have that information out, like on your Twitter, as long as you tweet that out, I'm
Yeah.
certain that you will. I'm certain that you'll get in touch with the people that you're looking for. So,
Yes.
and
It's gonna be
Guardian
awesome.
Guardian One is always standing by, ready to assist. So there we are. Moving on.
Crickets. Lots of cricket. You need like a cricket soundboard. I'm sorry, it needs to happen on this show.
Actually, I already do have a soundboard. Like I have this. When I first started the podcast, I had decided that I would have like a cheering section. So I downloaded this program, but there's like 2 seconds of delay in between when I click the button and when it gets heard. So I'd have to start it before the time would be perfect. Like it had crickets and there was like a Jeopardy version. You know, like when you ask somebody something, there would be like some kind of Jeopardy song playing. Like, but I just never ended up using it. Like, it just seemed like it was a great idea, but it just never ended up panning out.
So there would be legit crickets in between you actually playing the cricket noise.
Exactly, and that's not funny. You know. So yeah. So was that it, Agrios? Is that all you got?
There was one small bit of news. Earlier this week, we had a stealth little update slipped in there, 1.2.0.4. It only had 2 minor changes. One involved the Trials of Osiris. They removed passage coins from the Lighthouse reward chests because they're kind of useless to get more passage coins when you're already in the Lighthouse, I suppose. And they added a chance for passage coins to be awarded after match losses. So that's helpful to people who are losing matches. They would need more passage coins. It makes a lot of sense. The other interesting change is that they adjusted the 402 attack rating for weapons acquired in Destiny demo down to the proper value of 365. So I remember when the demo people were apparently getting 365 weapons when it was just the Dark Below is out. Apparently they were getting 402 attack power weapons now that House of Wolves is out. So they've adjusted that.
Gotcha. That sounds excellent.
But that's everything I got on a tight news schedule.
What's that?
That's everything I got coming up close to the end of the show.
Excellent. All right. So, BelleBunny, is there anything that you wanted to touch on? Is there anything that you had that you wanted to talk about before we left?
Yes. More than any of the other stuff. Can everybody please go back to being hyped? Because Taken King is going to be freaking awesome no matter what price you pay for it. Like, it looks cool. It's like we had E3, super excitement, and then all the money stuff happened, and then it sucked, and it's still there. Like, get hyped again, and be happy and enjoy the game right now, leading up to the Taken King, please.
You know what?
I want my happy community back. I miss you guys.
The Hegemony brought up something earlier in the chat. He said that history repeats itself, and it absolutely does. Like, I remember there being, some kind of furor. What's funny is I don't remember what it was, but I remember that there was insane venom spit towards Bungie, and then when they delivered the product, people just shut up and played the game because it was awesome. So I feel like that's what we're going to see here, and I feel like they have to be taking that into account at home base. I mean, it was the same thing with Halo. They'd release some stuff or they'd release information. People would be pissed off, and then once it came down to it, like once Taken King is out, everything will be fine again until,
But can we do it before then? Because I don't want to wait 3 months with this crap. I'm sorry. I get everybody's upset, but let's get back to the excited so that we can all enter the Taken King excited together instead of crabby. Oh, look, let's work together on getting back to that. And if you need something, get excited about the dad's charity stream this weekend, because that's gonna re-show you what community in this game is all about. So.
I think the problem with that is that those new 3 subclasses aren't out yet.
Yeah.
Well, then get excited about those.
As soon as we get any sort of preview about the Taken King, everyone will forget about this, and a year from now we'll just laugh about it probably.
Bungie just needs to give us a couple interesting things to be excited about. Like, in a week, we're going to have time for this all to kind of die down, and I'm hoping that they are ready to pony up some interesting detail, or hoping that perhaps they have some Crucible fixes underway with some of the lag issues that are going on, because some of that really does need fixed for the good of the future of the game.
Or a Bungie bounty that they owe the James from a long time ago.
Yeah,
another good one.
What about you, Agrios? Is there anything that you wanted to talk about more than what?
There are a million things that I need to talk about, but nothing that we have time to get into right now. I have enough for 2 more shows sitting here on my screen, but nothing I want to bring up in the tiny amount of time that I have left.
Right,
I have
that's
a
what
lot
I'm
to say
thinking
about
too.
Destiny. Some of it's really important too. Like, some of it, not all of it's entirely good, and it doesn't have anything to do with these prices or any marketing stuff or anything. And that's definitely a conversation for another time, though.
Yeah, that's the way I
Vault
feel
space.
as well.
Vault space.
Jez, what about you? Nothing from Jizz.
Well, you managed to catch me as I was letting a cat out of the room, but
Letting the cat out of the bag.
yeah.
What do you got?
Well, the overall thing that I wanted to mention was that weird discrepancy between getting things and exclusive until such and such a point. But other than that, no, that's pretty much it.
Crimson Warlock.
I'm pretty disappointed that all we really got to see from E3 was PvP maps. I was really hoping to see maybe a tease of a strike. But that's stuff we'll talk about later when it does get previewed. So.
Man, I'm so excited to talk about Rift and Rift and Mayhem. Like, that's going to be awesome.
Here's the small bit of news I think may have flown under the radar for some people that
2
I have
minutes.
that I could discuss. Okay, super quick then. They're going to be when they release the new strikes to the Xbox users that were previously PlayStation exclusive. Everybody is going to also get a new version of those strikes, a new upgraded, tougher to beat, something special taken version of those strikes. So not only is the Xbox people going to get new stuff with all the download, everybody's going to get new stuff with that particular upload.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. Crimson Warlock, is there anything you wanted to talk about in the last 2 minutes?
Nope.
Excellent. I'm with Agrios. I got a bunch of stuff that I want to talk about, but I feel like I'm just pushing back certain topics for when we don't have a bunch of stuff to talk about. Like this was a huge amount of information about basically one subject that's still months away. But yeah, so then that's it. That is the show. So let's do shout outs starting with BelleBunny.
Shout out to Luke Smith. I hope you feel better. And this is me sending you a hug because you and your ass-hattedness are awesome.
Excellent shout out. His poor wazoo. Agrios.
I want to give a shout out to the Reddit sub Lighthouse Sherpas. In particular, two of the Sherpas, XShadow9313X and Tenebrae Soul. They're a great group of guys over there who educate people in the art of getting to the lighthouse via PvP. They'll take you through two at a time and ensure you get to the lighthouse at least once, but their main goal is to teach you. So they're just a great group of guys, and everybody who's interested should go check them out. Or if you can help, you should go lend a hand. It's a great way for streamers to get their name out there.
Excellent shout out, and how very cool that they do that. Jez.
So Belle steals River's ideas, and then she steals my shout outs.
Hey, River
This
wasn't
is
why I
here, so
invite
I had
you to
to.
the show, Belle.
This is the
why-
second. This is the second time in a row, to be honest.
I'm so sorry. I'm kicked off
But
the
yeah.
show forever after this.
Still, shout out to Luke because that's the type of personality I've followed through podcasting all my life. Well, not all my life. Ever since podcasting was really a thing back in the early 2000s.
You know what? I would really like to get Luke Smith on the show, and specifically because you have this background. Like I know that it's cool when I meet people and they're like, oh, like I remembered you from this, and I think, oh man, that's like I'm just doing this Destiny thing now. Like I appreciate what you have to say. So that'll be really cool. Excellent. Crimson Warlock.
I'm just gonna shout out to Deej and the whole Bungie crew for once again showing us that you're listening and that you care and you have great things to show us in the future.
Yeah, Excellent, and I absolutely agree with that sentiment. Like they do care. They absolutely do care. You know, it's and I mean it's built into why would you want to piss people off? Like I understand people make mistakes. I understand there's business decisions to be made, but they definitely are not trying to piss people off. Like Luke Smith was trying to be cute. He was trying to be cute, and to those who could read into that, that's what they saw. They saw some cutesy little jabs, and the ones that didn't see that got pissed off. So you're totally right. Great shout out, Crimson Warlock.
I had one other thing I had to say real quick. I had a community member request that I do a shout out for the colorblind people this week. For the Trees AI asked me to say how awesome Bungie was for, making colorblind mode and the colorblind people out there who are doing good because of it.
And whenever you share a screenshot, I always think the whites are. I always think the whites are exotic.
The greens, actually. You think the greens?
Oh yeah,
are exotic.
the greens are exotic. That's funny.
Yeah, cause it's like brown colored kind of. Yeah.
Excellent. My shout out is to Agrios because he has always believed in me. Like I have very little self-esteem, reason to believe that I kick ass for any ways, and this last week was the first time that I have beaten Crota on hard mode. It was also the first time that I did the whole raid legitimately, and it was also the first time that I ran sword. So there was a lot of firsts there, and Agrios just always has a great deal of faith in me. So my shout out this week is to you, Agrios, because I appreciate it. You know, it helps me to know that you think I'm going to do it. Like
I got your back. And if not, I'll jump off the cliff behind you.
Right, and I appreciate that. So yeah, that wraps up episode 46. I would like to thank everyone listening for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions or suggestions for topics to be discussed on the show, please leave them in the comments below or send them to feedback@guardian1.net, and we will see you next week.